8:39, a Thursday morning. That weather forecast looking pretty good today, at least. Sunshine and temperatures around 45 degrees. Mostly clear tonight, 25 for a low. How about this for Friday the 13th? Mostly cloudy skies and temperatures around 51. We'll take that. Around the region, Meadville's at 24. Titusville, the warm spot, 29. Franklin Oil City at 28 degrees this morning. We welcome our next guest into the studio this morning. Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Courtney Taggart. I am a physical therapist over at Anderson Physical Therapy.
And I'm Kirk Master. I'm one of the owners of Anderson Physical Therapy.
Great to have you guys in the studio this morning. You guys have been busy.
Sort of.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Before we get into the latest news, tell us about Anderson Physical Therapy.
Well, you know, we're an outpatient physical therapy practice. There's three owners, myself, Dan Hopman of Titusville, and Kirk Decker of Titusville as well.
Dan's really not. He doesn't fit the owner mold. He has to show up to work. Is
he
that
doesn't
correct?
fit the worker mode, mode either so much. No, I'm just kidding. No, Dan's a good guy. No, he's all right. I mean, he does a lot of behind the scenes stuff that a lot of people don't
We're
realize.
just
he does.
kidding.
I
No.
know. But no, we have 6 locations spread throughout the area here in northwestern PA. We have Titusville, Clarion, Seneca, Franklin, Cochranton,
And Albion.
and Albion, yes, up towards the area. That's
That
our
covers a lot of ground.
most recent location. Yeah, we're spread out a little bit, spread out quite a bit. And actually, we a new thing going on where we're going to be opening an office in Tiddy Ute here sometime in April.
Wow, that's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys has this always been in the back of your mind, something that you wanted to do, or as you were into therapy, you just thought, boy, here's an opportunity, and here's an opportunity?
Well, myself, it started with me. I think probably as as a teenager, I was pretty involved in sports and had a couple knee operations and went through physical therapy at the time, and that kind of got me interested in the field. And then went to school and started working as a physical therapist assistant, and then had an opportunity to move, I guess, up the corporate ladder, as you would say, and here we are, or here I am as one of the owners of the practice. So yeah,
Wow.
It's something I like I said, I had my first surgery when I was 16, so I guess.
Now, what
it's been
sports
quite
did
a
you
while.
play?
Year-round, wrestling in the fall, baseball in the spring, summer, and football I guess wrestling in the winter and football in the fall.
Now, how about your interest in physical therapy? When did that start? Did you know early on that's what you
Yeah,
wanted
I
to do?
did. Actually, 8th grade's kind of similar story. I was into sports and I had some problems with my hip, so I went to therapy for it and thought I really liked the one-on-one with the patients and, getting them better, back to what they want to do. So since 8th grade, I kind of knew that's what I wanted to do.
And as Shakira said, hips don't lie.
That's
so
right.
you just,
I got to listen to it.
yeah, you got to listen to her. When those hips speak, you do something about it. So as you were going through the program, did you think, wow, this is, I love doing this. This is great, helping others.
Yeah, definitely. The program's long for PT. It's 7 years. So once you get into that, you kind of hope that's what you want to do. But once I was into the actual program, it was really cool. I loved it. So.
Now, people think, okay, sports injuries, got to go to the physical therapist, but there's so many things that you could go to Anderson's and get checked out. I mean, people falling on ice, people, shoveling incorrectly today, accidents. Talk about some of the symptoms that you guys see in the office or situations that bring people into the office.
Yeah, a lot of those right now, especially with the ice. We've had a lot within the last couple weeks, people falling on their shoulder, hurting their hip. A lot of people coming in with some gait problems, maybe they have some balance issues. A lot of the older population coming in with, post-knee and hip surgeries. We see people with some dizzy issues with their vestibular system. We work on that. And again, like workers' comp, people getting hurt on the job, people with rotator cuff surgery. So we see a lot, really wide spectrum from young to the elderly. So.
People falling off motorcycles.
Yeah.
So that happens.
I didn't want to say that.
I bring it up, right?
Well, so, even the folks who are into the routine of, they go to the office and they sit a certain way, every day for hours, or they go and, they're in the loading docks, moving heavy pieces of equipment or whatever. These are things that kind of throw the body out of whack. So a call to you guys would be a good first step.
Yeah, we teach about body mechanics, proper posture, things like that preventative measures, so things don't get worse. So, yeah.
What's that experience like? I mean, if somebody's, and again, I know it depends on the injury, but what's the first step? They call you guys up, you guys meet with them and discuss what the injury is, or I mean, do you get calls from the doctors that says, hey, we got somebody who...
Kind of both, I guess you could say. A lot of times we rely on referrals from the physician, whether it be their primary care physician or a specialist like an orthopedic surgeon or somebody like that. However, Pennsylvania is a direct access state. And that being said, the physical therapist has to be, is it credentialed or certified?
Yeah,
or how's that?
Direct access certified.
Correct. And with that, someone can come in off the street. They don't have to go and get a referral from a physician. They can come in to us. They don't need a prescription. They come in and the physical therapist will do the evaluation and write up a plan of care. Now, there's limitations with that. I think most insurance companies cover that. Medicare may not. I don't believe they do. But for the first 30 days, we can see them. That's not a problem. The insurance companies are typically okay. Now, if it goes past the 30-day mark, and then they're required to see their physician and get a prescription to come in and continue care with us.
Now, normally we don't isolate, certain patients, but Mark, you went through Anderson's. You were in a motorcycle accident,
and it was, I can't tell you how good it was. Because I was pretty stiff when I came in. I mean, everything had pretty much healed up at that point, but I was a pretty good weather predictor at that point. And honestly, that has gotten better, and it was a great deal of help, coming to see you folks.
Good.
Well, I think probably a lot of times somebody, they get hurt and they just sort of, okay, well, I had surgery or it's healing, so it's fine. Maybe I can't move it as well. And people sort of give up on that. But really, the next step should be seeing you guys.
Absolutely. I think the old way of thinking was, let's just it'll get better on its own and
pop a few Tylenol,
right? Or else they'll limp around, or else they just won't use that arm anymore. I mean, it sounds funny, but I think it's to some extent true. I think you see it a lot too in not so much the younger generation, but the older generation. They just don't think it's necessary. I guess to come in for physical therapy, they don't think it's something they need to do. But a lot of times it is. It helps a lot. I mean, people don't want to do any exercise to make themselves feel better. They think if it hurts, well, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe I can get a prescription, like some kind of medicine prescribed to help me. And you see that quite a bit too. So we like to think that we're there to help people get off of some of that pain medicine. If we can restore their function and the mobility and decrease the pain, then they don't need it. So that's ultimately what we're here for.
Maybe you could answer this. It probably becomes addicting to them once they start to feel, that relief or start to feel better.
Yeah, definitely. Some people come in, they're a little cautious about exercising. They don't really want to do it at first, but maybe the next time they come in, they're like, wow, exercising really made me feel a lot looser. I feel like I could do a lot more. I left feeling great. So yeah, I think people have that mindset that, oh, if it hurts, like he said, don't do it. But a lot of times just stretching things out, getting those muscles working again is really what makes you feel better. So
one of the things I noticed too is that not only is it the therapy that I got while I was actually at your offices, was the stuff that followed up in between. There were things that were recommended. Working clay or pulling elastic strips or something like that. What a lot of people don't realize is you can do that stuff almost mindlessly watching TV in the evening.
Absolutely.
And it's easy to do. There's really nothing to it.
No, it's not like you have to set out a half an hour of your day to go do it at home or something. Right. No, you're right.
Yeah, and we try to make the exercises that they can do at home something that they can incorporate into their daily activities, not taking time away from things to do them. Something you can do, like you said, in front of the TV, some exercises that really will help you a lot.
So let's kind of break it down into different groups here. Athletes, high school, college athletes. You guys have locations all over Northwest PA, so you see a lot of high school athletes. You see a lot of college athletes. What sort of things can you offer them?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on the injuries. Obviously.
But you could handle.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, all ankle. There's a lot of ankle sprain issues.
Because I'm sure you get the parents who come in and say, "Hey, listen, my kid really needs to he maybe got injured in football, needs to be in the pool for swimming or wrestling. Are they going to be ready? I'm sure the parents are as concerned when it comes to the student athletes.
They are very much so, more so than the students. I mean, come on. I mean, they just want to play the sport or whatever,
right.
get back to it. But yeah, no, I think. The thing is they come to us. We give them the exercises. I mean, and that's the biggest thing with the kids, the high school athletes and the college athletes, is focusing on the exercise.
And depending on the injury, do they typically rebound a lot faster than an older patient?
Well, of course, we all heal a lot quicker when we're younger.
Right.
Yeah, blood supply's better, everything. So the body's just set up to rebound quicker.
I know you. I say that because I think you were gonna maybe amputate Mark's arm.
We thought about it.
Yeah,
we thought about it. We did think about it. We had a big butcher knife, and I think Kirk Decker was going to bring in one of his sawzall or something. We were looking at that, but Mark begged and pleaded, and we didn't have to do that.
Yeah, you got him up and running.
Yeah, well, he started doing his home exercise program. That was the key.
Is that hard when you tell somebody hey, you need to be doing this at home? And
yeah, I mean, hey, no lying here. I was before I got into the field when I was in college. Like I said, I went through physical therapy. And I'd come in, and they'd say, "Well, you're doing your home exercises, right?" And I'd be like, "Oh yeah." It's funny now that I'm in the field because people come in and tell me that, and I can see that they're not. And it's just like, okay, you know what? You just take it with a grain of salt, and you review it with them, and you tell them, that this is going to help you if you really get at it.
But that's probably a good thing because it gets them in where somebody's actually paying attention to them, and I think that's probably part of it. Somebody's here telling me I need to be doing this.
Again, 100% true. I think, because they'll go to their doctor, and their doctor will recommend doing a few exercises, and they'll be like, well, I can do that at home. Well, you know as well as I do, if something isn't hurting, maybe that day it feels better, you're not going to do it, and then you just life gets in the way. I mean,
you lose your papers, you forget your exercise.
Yeah, and then you just stop doing them, or you think, well, I'll do them later, and then you don't do them. But coming into us, I mean, typically it's 2 to 3 times a week. And then you're doing them. At least those 2 or 3 times a week, you're going to be doing this stuff, which I think is very important.
You guys are, like I mentioned, just spread out here in Northwest Pennsylvania. That means there's a need for physical therapy. If folks are on that line of thinking, well, do I need to go? Should I just handle the pain myself? What's the best thing that somebody should do?
Of course, I'm going to recommend they come in and see us. But I think it opens a lot of people's eyes when they do come in and see us. I mean, we do some specific measurements for range of motion and some strength measurements. We can test some specific muscles. And when they see those imbalances, like from one side to the other, that really opens their eyes, is to be like, oh, wow, I didn't realize it was quite that bad. I knew I couldn't do this, or I knew I couldn't do that. But then when you put it right there in the numbers, they're like, oh boy, that's a big difference. Yeah,
I was really impressed by that, because one of the first things that you guys did was it's still not quite where it needs to be, but it's a lot better than what it was the range of motion and the strength. You don't think about those things. No. There's typically a lot of things we just kind of bull our way through and just take for granted that everything's going to work. Well, it doesn't happen that way.
That's right.
Like you say, those numbers are extremely important.
Mm-hmm. They are. And different injuries or different problems, aches and pains, people will get by if their shoulder's hurting them, instead of like just raising it up to get into a cupboard in the kitchen. I mean, they can get it up there. They might be bending their back to get their hand way up there, but at the same time they're doing it, and they don't realize how limited that is until their back starts to hurt. And then they're like, well, why is my back hurting? And it's kind of a domino effect. You compensate one place and then you're going to feel it somewhere else, and that doesn't need to be the case.
Are you battling constantly people trying to think, well, I don't know if my insurance is going to cover this, or I don't know what the cost is going to be?
Of course, yeah.
So really nobody's going to know until they come in and actually have that right. conversation with you.
That's right. I mean, they can call the number on the back of their insurance card, and they can get some information that way. Typically, when they come into us, we'll do an insurance verification and check their specific benefits, and then let them know. I mean, most times, today, even more so, because it's kind of on the forefront, across the country. Yeah. But I think they realize that they have a higher, say, deductible, or they know what their deductible is, and they usually know if they have a copay. It goes back and forth. But, I mean, we can get those answers from their insurance company for their plan and go over that with them.
And obviously it depends on the injury too. If it's something pretty severe that's going to require a lot of physical therapy, then you can build the program and go to the insurance company and say, hey, this is probably what they need to do to get on the right track.
And that's again very right on, because some plans have limitations on how many visits people can come. So I mean, if somebody had their rotator cuff repaired, that's an extensive rehab program. So I mean, we may limit them initially, because if we know how many visits they're going to have, we don't want to go gung ho at the beginning, because we're going to, you don't want to use them all up. So I mean, you kind of you plan it accordingly.
We've talked a lot about what it is that you do at the clinics and what have you, but there must be some days where, you go home and think, wow, that was really great. Do you have, I guess there's success stories, that really stand out one over the other. You probably both do. What's the best part of the job for you?
I think just seeing the progress the patients make. They come in and they're not able to do their day-to-day things. Simple thing like washing your hair or putting your jacket on are really difficult for them. And when they leave, they might be going back and now they're able to bike or, play tennis or, just go back to shoveling or raking their leaves. And, they come in each time. It's like, oh, I just washed my hair last night and I didn't even think about it. It was something simple that they were able to do that they couldn't do at all when they came in. So
that's probably the biggest
just seeing
success
their little
of all.
milestones that they make. And it might be something simple like putting your jacket on, but this winter it was kind of important.
Yeah.
So it's good to see those little milestones, and then the whole big picture. They're back to what they were doing before, and they don't really have limitations. So
I have to tell you, the one thing that I really enjoyed, besides actually, having the therapy, everyone who works there has a really terrific attitude. It's nice to go in, to be treated well. Honest to goodness, I felt like I was treated like the only person there, and that's really something to go home with. That's nice. It's probably the highest compliment I could probably pay to somebody. You folks were really good with that.
Well, thanks, Mark.
Thanks. Yeah, we try to do a lot of one-on-one, some manual stuff where we take them into a room, do some massaging and stretching and working on the muscles specifically. And then we go out in the gym and we do one-on-one with them out in the gym, making sure that they do all their exercises right, that they're not hurting some other part of their body, and just, watching them and make sure they're doing it the way they should be doing it.
Yeah, you don't want them, I guess, hurting something else in the process.
Right.
I mean, you like the business, but at the same time,
Right.
you don't want
we
that
like
happen.
seeing them, but we don't
Right.
want them to have to keep coming to us.
I like
forever,
it, but
so.
listen, we want you to get healthy and.
It's funny though, I mean, because you see people typically for at least 3 to 4 weeks. So I mean, and you're seeing them 2 to 3 times. I mean, you do develop a personal relation. I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, it really. I think that's when Courtney was talking about the different things in the job that you enjoy. But I mean, that's the big thing too. I mean, if you're not a people person, I don't know if this is the right career for you, because I mean, you meet and develop these relationships with people. And yeah, they're there and then they're gone, but I mean, they stick with you. You see them at the store, you see them at Walmart, I mean, and that's rewarding too. I think.
Oh, that's got to be really cool to run into somebody and then say, hey, you know what? I can wash my hair.
Yeah.
Well, right.
You
and,
know?
and you see people walking that maybe started out with you that weren't able to walk. I mean, that maybe came in and were in a big boot or something, and they hadn't walked for 2 months, and then you get them back where they can walk, and then you see them walking in the store, and you're like, ah.
Now, you talked about the growth, but here in Titusville, you guys have changed things up a little bit. Talk about that.
We have. We just, effective, what was it, February 23rd, we just relocated to 202 Union Street from our old location, what is that, West Central Avenue there. Yeah, that was a big move. We gained some space. It was the biggest thing. I think we gained about 1,000 square feet. Kind of expanded our gym area a little bit. But it is. I think it's going to work out really well for us. We went up to the space that was previously Northwestern Physical Therapy, Gary Clark's practice. And I believe Gary retired after, I think he said it was 39 years
Wow.
of serving the Titusville area. So, we moved into a location that a lot of people knew there was physical therapy there at one point anyway. So I that should help us. I think it was a good move for us.
That's great. So folks can find services available there again, and they can stop in. Is that the best thing, maybe to stop in and visit with you guys, or is it better to call to schedule an appointment?
Whichever works best for their schedule, really. Yeah, I mean, you can call and get some information, set something up, or stop in and talk to our therapist and move forward from there. Either way works good. Our phone number's still the same, 827-8148. And also, I wanted to throw out there about our Tiddy Ute location. Any inquiries about that can be placed to the Titusville office. So that same phone number, people can call there and get an exact opening date. Not that we have one just yet, but sometime early April.
Okay, great. We'll have to have you guys come back in when that's open.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All righty, guys. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. Great job.
Thanks for having us.
Love to have you back. Mark, what'd you learn today?
Wow. Well, I learned it's nice to be back among friends here, and
Listen, he's been trying to find some way to hurt himself around here so he can go back.
Really?
Yes.
And you haven't figured out a way for that to happen yet?
There's a lot of ice.
on.
still out
There's a lot of
there.
ice. Yeah.
there's enough cords on the floor.
Yeah, there are.
And I don't want you to sue me. I just want you to get hurt so you can go back. How about you guys? What did you learn today?
What did we learn today? I don't know. It's awful
okay.
early in the morning.
It is. That's what it
Come
is.
on.
We don't fight. That's okay.
It's not as nerve-wracking being in front of cameras as I thought it was. So
Well,
I'm
good.
There you go.
No, yeah, she was a little nervous about that.
It was.
All right. So, yeah, please come back and maybe even develop some tips that folks can maybe do at work.
Yeah.
I think that was Dan's big idea. Dan wanted some tips.
Actually, I think he said he wanted to come down and,
He
and
did
go
say
over
that.
Yeah, he'll probably be coming down next time
Yes.
and doing some demonstrations.
That'd be great.
Might have to free up the room a little bit. Yeah.
We can do that.
Okay.
We'll do that. Hey, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tomorrow, the Friday edition means absolutely nothing.
Except that it's Friday the 13th.
Oh, it is, isn't
Yeah.
it? Daybreak news from 6 to 7, morning drill from 7 to 9. Have a great Thursday, everybody.